Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the RIP Tour podcast. I am your tour guide Tim, and as of today, it is Friday the 13th that we are recording at like 6:30 in the evening, so this is kind of a strange one, but we did get an announcement, so we'll get to that in a minute. So I can't do this alone, and I have a couple people with me. So Liz, how are you?
Happy Friday the 13th, Tim.
Happy Friday the 13th.
What a happy day.
Yeah, it's a very happy day.
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm excited for this announcement.
Yeah. Excellent.
Excited to talk about it. Good day.
Excellent. And then lastly, I don't know, whatever. Ash, buddy, you've been working all day, huh? Working stuff
all day. That's what I'm doing these days. Working 2 jobs. But
all right, yeah. Calm down over there, buddy.
Friday the 13th is like an extra Christmas day for us horror fans.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, you will see the title of this episode. How cool is it that they got this right and they announced that we are getting a Friday the 13th Jason Universe house on Friday the 13th?
They understood the assignment.
They did. It was
very
too
good.
Easy. It was right there.
I applaud. I think we were saying at the last episode it would be such a shame and a miss for them not to announce that, right?
Oh yeah,
they had to. They had to.
Exactly.
Too obvious.
So we got the announcement, and actually I'm going to throw it to Liz. Liz, we're gonna play the video right now.
Yeah, let's go ahead and watch this video.
Live the horror you love to watch at Universal Halloween Horror Nights, featuring Jason Universe and more.
Well, there we have it. The official video announcement. Very similar to the Fallout video. Like, very similar. So I wonder if, like, all of the announcements are going to be like that they have actually recorded the videos for. What do you guys think?
Liz, you go.
Yeah, I think for the IPs, this is going to be the style this year. And I like it. I kind of like that it's a different living room. The living room fits the vibe of the IP. And there's a little, hidden Easter egg in everyone so far that I'm sure we're going to talk about. So, yeah, I think it's a cool little way of showing it. A little teaser.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I like the continuity around the bedrooms, the TV. We'll talk about how we felt about it in just a second, but I do like the keeping it constant for the IPs.
Love it. So do we want to talk about this, or do you want me to read the press?
We can talk about it. I have some thoughts.
Well, let's hear it, Ash. Come on.
I thought you were talking about the initial reaction first. Anyway, okay, so
no, let's get into it, man.
Okay, I didn't like this one. I feel for Jason. He is such a foreboding titan of horror that I think it worked for Fallout because it's almost that sort of TV, old-timey, if that makes sense. But I feel like this would have maybe benefited from a little bit of his best hits, in my opinion. Also, as well, they go in with that tagline of live the horror you love to watch. And that sort of fits in nicely to the people trying to escape from the TV. Make that the tagline. It's a cool tagline than, never go alone. But I didn't like this one. I think it would have benefited from a little bit more compilation of kills, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
for sure.
I agree about the tagline. I don't think that fits on a shirt, but I think that I love that so much more than never go alone. But of course, merch wise. But I see your point. I think they likely struggled just because of the rights with Jason to use anything too obvious straight from the movies. So I think it works knowing that information, but I get what you're saying, that we need a little more slasher, less teaser.
All right. I really didn't have an issue with this video at all, except for the stupid tagline again. You know how I feel about that, but that's whatever. I like that they're not showing a lot. in both the videos where, I feel like in previous years you kind of see things already and you're like, I don't want to see that yet. This is going to be a mashup house, correct? So I'm actually going to, I guess I should read the press statement.
Yeah,
now.
go into
I do
that.
want to before we get off the
go
commercial
for it.
though.
Yeah.
I just want to touch on the Easter egg because I don't know that we'll come
yes.
back to it.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So this is Ash's. Ash found this, so
Yes,
I'll
Ash,
let
why
him
don't
have the
you-
glory.
Ash, talk about it.
Yeah, so obviously with the fallout last week, if you're not aware, obviously a Halloween Horror Nights permit gets coded with something, and it's usually a theme. This year was flowers. Now it was fallout was Daisy, and there was a daisies in that announcement video. Now the Jason universe was Jasmine. So what I did this morning is I googled Jasmine, and it was like a white flower. I thought it was purple for some reason. I don't know why, but it was a white flower, and I'm looking for it. Can't find it. Eventually found it. Like I scrolled in, I zoomed in everywhere, and it was outside the window. There's only like one or two of them, and they blend in really well with the trees. And then Scott, if you're listening, I'm sure you are, he tweeted at us literally the same time as I found it as well. So you got a good pair of eyes too.
Yeah, because when I recorded my video earlier today, and I looked through the video, didn't see it, and even in when I recorded, I said I don't think there's a flower in here. So I was wrong. It
was like a Where's Waldo thing. You just couldn't find it.
That one was well hidden.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely paused it at the right spot. So, because you don't really see that at all.
Sort of blends in.
Also,
Yeah, so cool.
That also confirms for us that it is going to be the Fast and Furious queue because that is the code name for Jasmine.
Yep. All right, so let me read.
Now you can read.
Okay, now I'm going to read. Halloween Horror Nights resurrects the infamous Jason Voorhees in an all-new haunted house, Jason Universe, celebrating the legacy of one of the most notorious killers in cinematic history at Universal Orlando Resort and Universal Studios Hollywood. So this is a dual coast announcement. Halloween Horror Nights gives rise to horror movie icon Jason from the infamous Friday the 13th films in all the original haunted house. Jason Universe, which takes guests back to the summer camp where the gruesome legend was born. The reckoning begins on Friday, August 29th and Thursday, September 44th in Hollywood. So 29th in Orlando, September 4th, Hollywood. For 45 years, Jason has tormented audiences worldwide as considered one of the most notorious villains in cinematic history. This fall, the twisted creative minds behind Halloween Horror Nights pay homage to the machete-wielding slasher in a horrifying haunted house that reawakens the legend to terrify old and new fans alike. Jason Universe will take Halloween Horror Nights guests on a vengeance tour throughout the summer camp to see where it all began, from the creaking floorboards of Jason's ramshackle cabin to the decaying main lodge and the eerie forest that offers no refuge for his victims. Around every corner, fans will be inundated with infamous killer moments from Jason's heinous homicidal career as he taunts and stalks his victims, who learn too late that the legend is real. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited because, I mean, I think we've talked about this before. You know, he is on the Mount Rushmore of slashers, right? Like Jason, Freddy, Mike Myers. We've discussed it. We're not going to get into that. So I'm very happy that Jason is back. It has been a bit. Last house, and I think Ash is going to get into this a little bit with the history of Jason at the event with houses. But what was the last house? Jason versus
Freddy.
Nobody's ever called it Jason versus Freddy,
No,
by the way.
it's definitely Freddy versus Jason, but that's fine.
Whatever.
It's
Freddy
like
versus Jason.
Vinegar and salt on your chips.
I'm giving Jason his due because it's Friday the 13th. Jason goes ahead today, okay?
Good save, yeah.
Thank you. So actually, let's talk about that, Ash. Let's talk about where Jason has been in houses wise. So
yeah, I mean, he has been in houses, but not officially. Back in the day when they just threw anybody in and didn't really care about licensing too much. Officially, it was quote unquote icon. Not officially, but he was part of the big three that were part of Carnival of Carnage. We had Camp Blood. That was the first IP in the Jaws queue. And it was almost like an original take. It was the second movie, but it was, I think somebody will correct me if not, it was Camp Packanack, where you would go on Friday the 13th and then you go through the forest, the campgrounds, the cabin, the shack. So much to do with, it sounds like a lot of areas we get in this time. And then, of course, we got Halloween Horror Nights 25, We also had Freddy versus Jason, or Jason versus Freddy, seeing it's his birthday today. We actually had him in the maze. Obviously, it went through Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, then obviously they ended up battling it out together with more of a unique ending. And I know we're not talking about Scare Zones in particular, but he was a double feature that year as well. So, yeah, Liz, you want to add anything to the little brief history? It's not really too much else to add, really.
No, it's just, we went from 2007 to 2015, and now here we are at 2025. He's finally back at the event. I think it's overdue.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what they do with him this time because, some of the other slashers, Michael Myers has been there a million times. So it's nice to have Jason back again.
Nice. Did you guys feel before this announcement? I mean, I know we heard rumors and kind of things, but were you scared that this might be for the new series that's coming out eventually? I don't think it's even coming out this year now, from what I've been reading. Were you worried about that? Are you happy that this is basically going to be a mashup house? Maybe we do get something for the series at the end. I know they've done that before, where they've had a house where there's a scene at the end and the movie wasn't even out yet. Was that the Saw house, if I am not mistaken, where the new Saw movie was out like later on in the season, but the scene was already at the end, and we were like, what the hell is going on? So thoughts about the house as a mashup, because I'm excited for this. I want to see some crazy kills. Does Jason X get the love that everybody wants? These are the important questions. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I love the sort of mashup compilation, best hits type maze. If we get in a slasher of this magnitude, that, just think about it, we haven't had for 10 years. I think now they've sort of changed the franchise outlook because it's not Friday the 13th anymore, it's Jason Universe. So that might be a little bit easier to obtain the rights. Now it's a bit more, I don't know, solidified as a franchise. But yeah, give me a mashup of greatest hits, greatest kills. I would love that. The only thing I worry about, and you know what's coming, is location. Major Suites last year was a short maze. It was narrow, which was fine. I like that, but it was just a short maze. And if it's the same dimensions again this year, are we really going to take full effect of this? Because it's a really, really big slasher that probably might benefit from a soundstage, but they're my thoughts.
So we know from the permits that it's not the same as Major Suites. Unfortunately, it's
smaller, right?
It's back to Chucky, essentially.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I'm not sure how they're gonna do that. I think of the houses rumored, this one probably is best suited for that queue, because if you're doing a campground style, we know it worked in the Jaws queue before. So I think it can work in Fast and Furious. I think they're probably going back to the old style so they can have that outdoor area that Major Suites didn't utilize. Other than the space concerns, I am very happy that it's a mashup house. I don't think we'll see anything from the new show because from what I was hearing today, they haven't even started filming yet. So I don't know when that's coming out, but I don't think that'll be included. I think this is just going to be Jason Universe going through iconic sets, iconic kills, just a love story for one of the best slashers to ever exist.
Hell yeah. I really can't add too much to that. I mean, I'm very excited about this too. I think you're right. Maybe we don't get anything new because you're right. They have not started filming yet. But I'm very excited for that show because Linda Cardellini is playing Jason's mom, Pam. So I think that's going to be pretty damn amazing. But yeah, I'm with Ash. I'm with Liz. I love mashup houses. I think this is going to be amazing. It's Jason. How can we go wrong, right?
Yeah, I feel like they almost have like things they have to put in there, like iconic things that maybe they have an agreement on, but it almost feels like they have kind of carte blanche to do whatever they want in a sense and make it an original take on famous sort of scenes, things like that.
And I hope if this is going to be a true, mashup house, I want to see the different versions of Jason.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we will.
From the way beginning to the sack head or whatever you want to call that, to Jason X, to whatever else we're going to throw in there. I feel like we need to see all the different ones. And, as soon as I heard, we're getting another slasher house, did you guys just think last room is just going to be, 500 of them coming at you, just like the previous ones?
The statue
much.
scares. Yeah.
Between Michael Myers or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's just, one after another at the end. Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
but
that's my guess.
I have a question for you, Tim, because this is going to be your first Jason house.
I know, I'm excited.
So, yeah, how do you feel about finally getting to see Jason at the event?
I love it. I'd rather it be Freddy, but I'm going to take Jason, obviously, as well. I'm very excited, and I will be even more excited when we get Freddy. But, yeah, this is awesome. Finally get to see some Jason. I've seen Mike Myers a bunch of times. Now it's time for Jason to get some love. So I'm very, very, very excited about this. This, obviously we've only had 2 houses out of the 2. I'm more hyped, for this one than Fallout. And speaking of Fallout, Liz, did you start watching the show?
I have. I've watched the first 2 episodes.
And we don't have to get full details, but what are basically quick thoughts about it so far?
Oh yeah, you knew I was going to love it.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
It's a little gorier than I was expecting.
Yeah.
So I was watching parts of last night's episode like behind my hands because I'm a wimp when it comes to gore. But I'm loving the characters, loving the story, loving the music, the setting. You know it. You knew.
Yeah, I figured you would love that show. Yeah. So I can't wait for you to finish it. Yeah.
The freaking corn. We didn't even talk about that last week.
I know.
I watched the first episode. I'm like, they didn't tell me there was corn.
Yeah, there's corn. So hopefully they don't put corn in this house anywhere or inside, outside. Yeah, I know. Anyway, so that was the big announcement. But also on top of it, we got the merch release, and our roving reporter Ash was over in the park again today. So Ash, why don't you run us through some of the stuff that got released today? Not a ton. Just some preview merch, but also, a continuation of that nice little, picture frame thing.
Yeah, which is now sold out at the main park anyway, at Studio Side. I did see some over at All Hallows Eve Boutique the day before. So I would definitely, if you're thinking about buying it and you're humming and ahhing about it, go and get it, because with these preview merches, they don't hang around. Very rarely do they actually make it to the event. So if you're thinking about it, definitely pull the trigger. Anyway, preview merch announcement. We have, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see it. The t-shirt. So it has Jason. The O is the hockey mask on the sort of breast pocket.
Give us the turn. Come on, give us the twirl. Let's go.
Wow. And then on the back.
We gotta see the back.
Can you see it?
Yeah, there you go. Yes.
There you go. The back is super cool. Yeah, it's a really nice red, and it's not like a bold red. It's almost... Yeah, you have to see it. I'm sure you've seen it by now if you listen to this episode anyway, because you're in the fandom, but super cool. I love the Fallout tee last week. I know the color wasn't everybody's favorite, but I thought that shirt was good. This shirt was good. And I've been a bit indifferent about the preview merch in recent years. So 2 for 2 for me in terms of shirts. What else did we get? We got a mug. We got the Jason Universe mug. The actual print on there is the same as the back of the shirt. And it does have the Jason Universe below it. I usually pick mugs up. I didn't pick it up because I usually like the bigger mugs for my coffee, but I just left that one. And just like you said a moment ago, it's not a magnet. It's almost like an acrylic, a thin plastic acrylic sort of thing that does have a sticky adhesive thing on the back you pull off and stick it into the picture frame. So mine is right behind. I've got 2 on there, so 3 to go.
Excellent. Hey, how just out of curiosity, how much is the frame?
Frame's $25.
Nice.
And then the
and then how much are they charging?
$8.
$8. Okay.
Which I don't think is too bad to complete it. You're talking 65 minus, I don't know, maybe minus about $10 for discount for AP. But yeah, it was busy obviously because in the community you kind of know when these things are going to be announced. I'm going to be honest, this was a 50-50 coin toss one. Are they going to do it? Are they not going to do it? I was very adamant on the last episode, so I have egg on my face. I said they wouldn't do it on the Friday because it was too obvious. They did it, and everyone was sort of expecting it, so it was busy. I felt bad for the people because they were trying to put things out. People were grabbing it, taking photos of it, but I was just chilling with Brian and taking a few photos for us. Yep.
Well, excellent.
What about Spooky Empire? You want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe.
you're going to be our roving reporter again at Spooky Empire.
Yeah.
And you're going to be covering the panel there that we probably, maybe, should get an announcement for HHN. So,
Yeah.
And that will be when? Next Friday?
That's next Friday, yeah. So call me Peter Parker. I'm out taking photos and
Nice.
doing stuff again. But yeah, Spooky is next Friday, which is the 20th. The HHM panel is that day. I'm going to just go around, check a few booths out. I know our friends at Fear and Beer have the booth, so I'll go check them out. But yeah, that's what I'm doing next
Liz,
Friday.
did you hear the frustration in his in his tone? Like, oh, I'm gonna be, Peter Parker again.
Oh,
blah
it's
blah
so
blah.
terrible.
Oh my God, this is terrible that
I
I'm at
finally started
Spooky
doing
Empire.
Instagram after 3 years of being on the
Oh.
podcast. It's terrible.
What's Instagram? How is that? How do I do this?
Oh, God. So yeah, if you're not aware, I've never used Instagram in my life until about 3 weeks ago.
And now we can't
And now
stop.
we can't- now we
yeah,
can't get
when-
Now we can't stop. He's
can't
an
stop
absolute
using it.
monster and a machine now.
I'm a real machine. I've got
Crazy.
I've got the creative ideas. I just need to
Crazy.
figure out
memes every day.
how to get them out
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm
Anyway,
excited to see what happens at Spooky.
Yeah.
I think odds are good we'll get some sort of announcement.
Okay.
And I was thinking, because last year we got Slaughter Cinema 2.
okay.
Yep.
So I'm assuming we're going to get an original this year. 'cause
Okay,
that-
I was actually just going to ask, do you think it's going to be an IP or an original
Yeah, 'cause
announcement at Spooky?
for Spooky, they're going to do an original because that's where the fans are, right? So the announcements that the social media team do, those are for everybody, general public IPs.
Yeah.
But Spooky Empire, if you're there at the panel, you're a
Nice.
fan.
I agree.
So I think 100% it's going to be an original.
I have another question too. I agree. First and foremost, it will be an original because it's an Orlando thing, not like a dual coast sort of convention
exactly.
thing. So yes to an original. I think one will be announced next Friday. Do you think similar will happen last year, where we then on the Monday got a week's worth of originals? You think the reason I'm saying it is we got the Five Nights at Freddy leak almost, then we got Fallout, week later Friday the 13th, a week later probably an original announcement. So that's 4 in 3 weeks.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting that again. I think that was a
liked it though.
one-time
Yeah, it was good. I liked it too.
one-time surprise. Yeah.
And then there could
I was thinking
be,
so.
isn't Midsummer a little later out on the West Coast?
That's for Hollywood, isn't it? Yeah.
Or Midsummer Scream or whatever that's called. They're basically, are
Yeah.
like the equivalent. And usually there's some kind of announcement. But that could be just Hollywood too, or not. Could be a dual coast. You never know. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's it. I mean, we got the merch. We got the announcement. Have we missed anything else? Anything else we need to cover before we get out of here?
So, any other news? We got the history of Jason, which is pretty quick. Any other news? No.
I don't think so.
Anybody get any tickets? I don't think so. All right, we kind of wait until those multi-nights drop.
Yeah, gonna kind of wait to see what happens when those drop and not see the express attached to it. So
I've been doing number crunching, debating what I'm gonna do.
That's everybody. Do I do Premium Scream? Do I do RIP? Do I do?
I mean, me and Liz talked about that, and we were just like, we will have an entire episode on that, on how, because I guarantee that all of us are going to do this differently this year.
Yeah.
With no express. So it's just a matter of how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And I still think that, like, even all four of us will be doing it differently from each other.
I hope
is
it's the
my guess.
worst rumor in the world.
I mean, yes,
this
obviously.
is one I don't want to be true. This is,
I know.
sometimes I'm like, please, and this one I don't want it. I don't want to be right.
Like
I don't wanna be right.
like a house or a maze you're not particularly fond of, whatever. But this is is personal.
Yeah.
Yes,
For
for,
sure.
real.
For sure. Excellent. Well, Ash, you did it last week. So, Liz, where can people find us at?
They can find us at RIP Tour Podcast on Twitter/X, Instagram, YouTube. If you're watching, make sure to like and tell your friends to subscribe. We're fun. We have a Discord where we chat from time to time. And I think we've talked about maybe having like some scheduled
Yes.
Discord chats as
Yes,
we're
we'll
getting
get to
closer to
that.
the season and there's more rumors floating around where we'll just let you guys know we're going to hang out and we can all chat Horror Nights together.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a spread shirt, which,
Woo!
I mean,
Yeah, we haven't talked anything about new design this year.
we're still kind of waiting for some sort of theme to come out,
Yeah.
but we got the stained glass now, so we're kind of
Yeah.
building.
Exactly.
building there.
But we'll get to that. We always have something. And then we'll figure out stickers and buttons again for the season. So, Well, thanks, Liz. All right. Well, I guess we're going to get out of here until the next announcement, which is probably going to be next week.
Yep.
This is one of our shortest, very efficient. Like it was just about right. Not too much, not too little. You know.
Exactly.
You know what though, Tim?
What's that?
You know what you promised people on the last episode?
Oh, this ought to be great.
You promised, and I've got it verbatim here. You promised history was coming.
Well, that's on you guys, not me now.
Listen.
Oh, yeah.
It's Universal's fault. If
It
they
is.
hadn't,
I mean, that's true. Yeah,
released
I mean, that's
Jason
what this.
today.
I feel like this happens all the time when we're like just about ready to do the history episode. We get announcements,
Yeah.
and then that just gets pushed back even further.
So
Hey,
here's
it's not
the
a bad
new
thing.
promise. Here's the new promise.
It's coming
Because-
soon.
Because next week we
Yeah.
assume we're getting an announcement, so it won't be next week. But then
Correct.
it's probably going to get quiet for like a little bit.
So hopefully
whenever
we-
there's not
we'll
an
sneak that in
announcement,
there.
it'll be
Yeah.
a history episode.
Exactly.
This is a good thing, though. This means we have content. This means we're talking about things, and the longevity
There's
keeps
things
going
for
and going and going.
It's a good
so,
thing.
yeah.
Exactly. All right, but that's it. We're gonna get out of here. So until hopefully next week with the next announcement. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.